Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talkin Overtime. That is Brian over there somewhere. I'm Bill. And we're going to jump in a second here, but I just wanted to check in on Brian since it's been a few weeks since we've done one of these. That's what you're working on. There you go.
That's what I'm working on.
So, you holding up signs during meetings.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bad boy. I'm a bad boy.
No, we'll jump into the wheel in a second, but no, I've been following what you've been doing. Have you thought of doing any kind of crossover stuff with like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and everything? Like, were you big into Mortal Kombat?
I didn't like Mortal Kombat nearly as much as Street Fighter, but a lot of my cousin Chris is like, dude, I love Mortal Kombat. Can you draw Mortal Kombat? And I really don't take requests usually. I just draw whatever I feel like drawing. But for Chris,
I'm sorry.
For Chris, I'll throw together some. No, you know what it is? Like when I do requests, it just feels like I'm doing. Unless I want to draw it. Sometimes it's like, oh, I want to draw that. I'll draw it.
Wow, that has you should do.
What?
You should do the McDonald's characters in Street Fighter form.
See, there you go. That's more up my alley. If I want to draw it, because when stuff I share on the internet, it's like everything I want to draw. Like I'm like, I want to draw this right now for fun, and like people are like, drawing is drawing, but like I always equated. I don't know if I've said this on the show before. Reading a book for fun feels a lot different than reading a book in class that you've been assigned to read.
No, so you're 100% right.
When you want to read the book, it's like, woo.
Well, I mean, even before the wheel gets going, like I remember when I was doing more website design and things like that. If I'm working on the Matt-Trakker site, or if I'm doing a client site, there's a huge difference on what, like, do I want, I'm just clicking through, I'm doing what I'm doing what's requested, and that's fine. But then I'm also doing what I want to do, like I get to be creative and expressive.
It's way different. It's way different.
And it is way different. So yeah, drawing is drawing. That's not an incorrect statement.
Yeah, it is.
But it's subjective, and that's just all there is to it, really. You're going to have more fun doing one thing than you are another. That's
guaranteed. And I mean, there are sometimes there's a commission where you're like, oh, this is awesome, I'm into it. Like you can get really into it. And then there's other commissions where you're like, I'm doing the best I can. It's not like lacking in quality, but I feel like I'm reading a chapter book with a quiz tomorrow.
Well, at least there's no quiz here. Well,
no,
I mean there was, but you didn't win, and
I lost. So I didn't lose. Third place.
You didn't lose.
I didn't lose.
Did not lose.
Now I can never lose one of those things.
I'll get the share going here. 1 second here. All right. So, we got the topics coming up. So, options not explored are the mask things that they could have explored. Jason and I from Agents of Ma.s.k talked about this a couple of years ago, but it's still a good topic. Super 7. There's a lot of things we could talk about there, especially now with the Silverhawks coming out and no masks still. Fan bases, movie theaters, Masters of the Universe Revelation, Superman and Lois, The Mask by Kenner, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
You actually put it on the wheel.
It was one of my first videos, to be honest. Like when I started getting serious about doing more of this, and I just remember, like it still pisses me off when I type in Mask Kenner and I get to see this stupid Jim Carrey thing come up.
Yeah, I made it as a joke suggestion, but it's so annoying.
No, it's gonna be on there. And let's I don't think I did the share sound, but it's all right. We'll just pretend it's going. So here we go. I'll hold my mic up here.
I'm gonna feed my dog the rest of this bacon and egg and cheese. She's gonna be happy. Here, buddy. There you go. I'll get out of here. Hey, movie theater.
All right, we got movie theaters, as you just said. So I'll let you kick this off since it was one of your ideas.
It only occurred to me because yesterday was the first time that I was like, wait a minute, like if I want to see this movie, we have to go to a movie theater. And like I don't know, Peter Rabbit 2, which
you want to see it
out of all the kids movies that are available, that would be the top of my list because the first one's really not bad. Like recommended completely. That and Paddington were like totally like, I would have watched that without a kid. But
I remember watching Paddington a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, and,
I
and the
love that
new
show.
movies are good. The new movies are good. Like, and I wasn't even Paddington. I'm not a Paddington guy. I don't have like Paddington,
I'm
a
not
shelf of
full
Paddington.
disclosure. I'm not a Paddington
I'm not a
guy.
Paddington guy. I don't have like a shelf of Paddington. If you want to see what kind of guy I am, it's on a shelf. There's always going to be a shelf. Um, but like I can't not do that. But Peter Rabbit 2 had that trailer, and Penny's like, put it on, let's get it. It's got to be on a channel, and I'm like, it's only in theaters, and that hasn't happened in a year because everything that's been available has been available at home.
Who's producing it?
I don't know. I
Because
don't
it's not.
know.
It
All I
wouldn't be
know is
Disney then.
it's
Is it?
not Disney. It's definitely
Is it
not Disney. It might be
Paramount?
DreamWorks. It might be
Paramount?
Paramount. It's one of the others. It's not Disney.
Yeah. Well, as you're talking, I'll look it up here.
And I'm one of the people that like loves movie theaters, and there's a lot of people that complain about like, oh, sounds, other people's kids, people eating food, talking, screaming. But I love giant bucket of popcorn, movie theater, sitting there, air conditioned, middle of summer. I go by myself. I don't even care if no one wants to go see the movie or it's a time no one can get to. I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by myself whenever that came out, and that was like the best 2 hours I had that year. It was awesome. But now I feel a little spoiled because I'm like, I got to bring both kids to the movie theater to see Peter Rabbit too. And for the last year, I just been able to like put it on Disney or HBO, and they would just like make you pay a little bit more or something.
See, Columbia Pictures.
That sounds right. I'm taking the internet's word over my guesses. Yeah, no, but first one's awesome, and the second one is probably just gonna milk whatever was good about the first one. But the kids want to go see it, so now I'm off to a movie theater at some point in the next 2-3 weeks.
I don't miss movie theaters. When they came into the advent of assigned seating where you didn't have to like stand and
Yeah, like
rush in to fight everybody for a seat and all that. I started enjoying going to the movie theater a lot.
definitely.
And especially for the bigger budget stuff. So with Black Widow, the tickets went on sale. We're recording this on the 13th. I think they went on sale yesterday or the day before. I'm like, I'm not going to go to the theater because it's still offered on Disney Plus. I think they're doing it, and I think they're doing it for free. Like you don't have to pay the premium.
Oh, it's like an HBO Max kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I read anyway. I'm not 100% sure, but even still, like all those movies, except for the only comic book movie that I didn't go see in the theaters that I can recall was Birds of Prey because it looked awful, and I still haven't seen it yet. I've seen everything else.
Is that the Harley Quinn one?
Yeah, and
that wasn't bad.
It didn't look like anything that would really draw my interest and hold. Like there wasn't a story that I was already following, and
it probably had a little bit of a Suicide Squad stink to it.
And I wasn't really interested in seeing Black Mask as a main villain. He's a ruthless character in the Batman universe, but compared to everything else that's available, it wasn't really something there. And that's going to be an option. Like you can go see Black Widow in the theaters. It's probably it's very safe. We're still a little hesitant on bringing Liam into enclosed spaces.
Yeah, I get it.
But no, like I would, like if I would go alone, like I've gone to see movies alone. I've seen a couple like that. But
there's going to be a difference between me watching Top Gun 2 and my friend, if I wanted and he's the guy that I'm going to see Top Gun 2 with, if I wanted to see it, he has like an 80-inch TV screen in his living room. It's like insane. It's too much. It's like 5 of my posters put together. He's got this like movie theater in there. I still want to go see Top Gun 2 in the theaters. I feel like that's a movie that you have to go see someplace, Godzilla vs. Kong. It was available on HBO Max. I went to the theaters with my friend from work because
I watched it on here. Like, it was fine, but yeah, I needed, especially because they also, the only good part was that I could fast forward through all the human stuff.
Yeah.
You just kind
of,
but seeing the monster fights on the theater on the big screen, with or without popcorn, it's fine. It would have been great. I know that at some point, they're filming the Batman's done filming and they're in post-production. They're starting to film Aquaman 2, Indiana Jones 5, where Indiana Jones looks like he's already melting from.
Yeah. By the end of it, he's gonna wish he looked into that arc.
Yeah, I mean I think that's what's ended up happening. I think it's like residual effects or something. I mean, I'll still go see it, or I'll still see it in general. I love Indiana Jones. It's just
I'm one of those guys. I'm a sucker. I'll go see it.
And a lot of people hated 4. I didn't hate it. I was like, all right, well, that's the way they want.
Not that I hated it. It's just you're comparing it to like 3 of the best adventure movies ever, and then at one point, and that movie started good. I liked it right through, like basically
when the monkeys came in. I was like,
yes, that's the jumping off point where you're like, it's not that the swinging with the monkeys was the dumbest thing ever, but like he's sitting there on a branch, he looks at monkeys, he goes, monkeys, and then he swings, and you're like, oh, and I was also cringing because the guy next. Indiana
that scene with the ants, like that was amazing. Like that's something that actually would happen. The
motorcycle scene at like the diner or the college was cool.
Oh yeah, like all that's like everything. Even in the beginning with all the overacting of
the atomic blast.
I didn't mind that. I found that to be funny.
Yeah, it was good.
I was like, all right, who's to say? Did you jump in a lead line fridge and see if that would happen?
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't hate it.
But it's,
and the ending fell flat, like really bad.
Yeah. Oh, they got married.
No, the aliens, and then getting married. All of it was just horrible.
Oh, well, yeah, but in the same sense, I still had fun watching it.
It wasn't like I felt like
it was my least favorite out of them. It actually went below Temple of Doom, which I didn't think would be possible, because I love that movie, but it's also like, I don't love it. It's a weird dynamic with that one.
I like all 3, the originals. 4 is good, and
Raiders,
you know what?
Raiders is fantastic. The Last Crusade is probably one of my top 5 favorite movies.
I love that one. The Last Crusade is my favorite somehow, which is weird.
It's got Sean Connery in it. It's
the third one being your favorite is rare. Like, and I mean, a lot of people like Return of the Jedi, but I don't know how they like that compared to the first 2.
I like it. I like it better than Empire.
Return of the Jedi is a lot like Crystal Skull in that the first 2 are so good. Even like the inclusion of Ewoks, which I don't hate, but like, Han Solo's a little jokey in it, and he's not as cool anymore. There's a lot of things that I'm like, something's a little off, but it's Return of the Jedi. You still love it,
The biggest problem I had was, and I don't know if anybody else will have the same problem. They're camouflaged going through the jungle, and they bring a giant golden robot with them.
No, he was indigenous to the planet. They have a lot of those walking around there.
No, like they got the gold robot, and I don't know. I just found that to be funny.
It's a lot.
It had to happen because they needed that plot point. But it is what it is on that front. But theater wise, when Liam can get vaccinated, that'll be when we can think about like, hey, all right, let's go to a theater, and it'll happen at some point. Like my wife likes to get popcorn and a Coke Icy. That's the only time she ever has it. Like, and I'll get depending popcorn on whatever time of the day it is. I won't get coffee from the movie theater because that's disgusting.
No, my movie theater sells like weird stuff. You're like, I don't know if I want to have like your steak, ciabatta bread thing. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, there's some theaters that are like, they're called movie taverns.
I've seen one in Arizona. I wanted to go, but we were at
there's a couple in PA. We don't have any around me. But no, like the theater by me has like hot dogs and pizza.
Yeah, but there's a theater that has like weird. You're like, I'm not gonna eat that in a movie theater. Like, come on, popcorn.
Do you need anything else to get you back to the theater? Like, is there any incentive that you need? Like, what?
I need that movie.
Yeah,
I need Top Gun 2. Top Gun 2 gets me there. Any Star Wars movie gets me there. Godzilla got me there. And you know what? Godzilla got me there. And the minute you said you could fast forward pair the human parts, I was like, I should have watched Godzilla at home, because then I wouldn't have had to watch Millie Bobby Brown and that like
was awful.
That Australian kid from Deadpool 2. Like, dude, the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life with some podcasting dude that was like, I'm on the this weird podcasting guy who worked for the company. You know it. You saw it. It's freaking the worst storyline ever. It was horrible. And then they
I
like
mean
the middle of the earth to China. Like,
the Titan action though, that was
yeah, that's the next Godzilla movie. I wouldn't even mind if they just subtitled the freaking animals and like Godzilla was like, "Roar!" And it was like, King Kong, you've offended me. Like, I wouldn't care. I don't want
it's a
people
Star
anymore.
Wars holiday special, but with actual subtitles.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
Yeah.
want people anymore. I'm so sick of people in Godzilla. The next Godzilla in a land without people. Godzilla reigns supreme. I'll take that because I don't
You
need
don't
Millie
need the
Bobby
human
Brown.
element.
I'm so
You
sick
know,
of it. The dad and her, like, oh, baby, we made it to China together in the same 10-minute span. Good thing I took this helicopter. It was just, sometimes you're like, I can suspend disbelief. I'm an idiot. But like, sometimes if an idiot's picking up on this stuff, it's like, maybe you should.
Yeah, you can suspend
rewrite that.
disbelief, but
Yeah,
there's only so far you can go.
Yeah,
So.
my dumb mind can suspend some disbelief.
Well, for people that are watching here, obviously you would have rather see us on the big screen. So we'll make that happen one day. But let us know, like, what have you seen in the theaters? Because it might be different around the world too. We do have, it's a global audience we have here, Brian.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
So how are the theaters for you guys and girls?
They are, yeah, mine are wide open. I don't know how they're doing.
I think ours are pretty much open now here.
Yeah, you can do anything.
We're right outside Philadelphia, so I think they're pretty much open for the most part. I don't know for sure though.
I can go in without a mask because I'm vaccinated, so I just walk around now.
Yes, I still wear a mask out sometimes because
People do.
I feel more comfortable that way, I guess. But I don't know.
I want people to see my big, shiny white head.
Well, they will. So we're gonna go to the
Before.
next one here. Here we go.
Watch it be Superman and Lois because you've never watched an episode. Or
I can put it. I can piece it together though.
Because I've never watched an episode.
Brian, suggestion.
This will take us right through the end of the show.
So fan bases, Brian. What was your thought process on this topic?
I forget. I suggested it a while ago.
It has been on the wheel for a while.
It has been. I think with fan bases, and I just had this like a little back and forth on Twitter this week with Paul Pantalone, Plastic Battles. I don't know, Pantalone. I read so fast. Everybody's name becomes whatever my brain sees it as. But he was writing something about G.I. Joe fans, and there was a lot of complaining going on last week because things are like on Hasbro or they're Target exclusives or whatever nonsense is happening now. And I said, you know what, man? I've backed off a lot of the groups and a lot of the message boards I go to because fan bases are just at an all-time high of being really annoying. And the people I've met through them that I follow or I'm friends with, I kind of discuss I discuss the things that I'm interested in with you. Because like real life people, we don't really talk 80s toys or anything like that. They don't care. But it's become like we're like, and it's been like this forever. Fan bases and message boards, like the people who are the loudest are usually the most annoying people in the group. And that's why I've always tried to like share my art and like be out there. And if I put myself out there, I do it in a positive way and keep all my negative thoughts like in my head or in a private message to you. So like, because no one wants it. Who cares if I don't like She-Ra? Who cares if I don't like
what?
Like, yeah, who cares if I don't like this incarnation of that or this thing or that or Ninja Turtles or whatever? Like who cares what I think? Who cares what anybody thinks? Like, I don't care if somebody didn't like something that I liked. I'm not like, hey, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to like that because it's good. Like, there's a lot. Like, Pixel Dan writes a tweet the other day, like, hey guys, remember, if something new you don't like, it doesn't invalidate the stuff you liked as a childhood. And I'm thinking to myself, the fact that he needs to write that is sad because that means people are really saying like you're ruining my childhood, which I thought was kind of like a meme or a joke. But people are just like, fan bases are rough right now. Like they either expect too much or they're angry all the time. I rarely do you see like people like, wow, this is great. It's just people are complaining about prices or vintage toys or whatever. It's whining just so much.
Well, I mean, Super 7's on this wheel, and and this is something that this is something recent that I saw. People that were posting, with the Silverhawks, like they're complaining. I don't know. I don't like. Full disclosure. I literally know nothing about Silverhawks. But people are complaining about like silver on the figure or something.
Yeah, they're not vac metalized. Yeah, they're not vac metalized, and that was like a whole thing. It's like,
and I was looking at it. I'm going, okay. I don't remember Silverhawks being brought back at all.
No, this is the first chance they've had.
So that's something that, okay, maybe that is a legitimate thing that you can complain about, but in the same sense, it's something that recently had nothing. There wasn't even a random G.I. Joe figure for it.
No,
it was literally nothing up until this point. And then here you go. There's some Silverhawks figures coming back.
And not just Silverhawks figures, like half-assed reaction ones that look okay.
No, these are like $70 a piece, right?
Like they're 55, 55, 55, and the Monstar, which is as big as like
the red guy, right?
The red guy, yeah, Monstar is like 11 inches, and I think he's 85. I don't want to like complain about the price and be like, oh, I said to somebody the other day, I go, the price isn't the issue, because look at Mezco One Collective, that Christopher Reeves I got. Look at that thing. That thing's like 125, and I paid that. And those Street Fighter figures.
I see Vega. Hold on, go up.
Oh, sorry. That
there he is.
And that was Sagat or Sagat. So I got Christopher Reeve, right? That's a $125 figure, which is expensive, but I bought it. And I had some money. This is all drawing money, like PayPal money from like drawing stuff. And then the Street Fighter figures.
You told me you took it out of your kid's college fund.
Yeah, that too. I guess I could be putting the drawing money towards the kids' college fund. They would be going to no college anyway.
Look, if they really want to go to college, they should have a side job right now and put money away. Okay, I mean that's on them.
But like that figure's 125. That Sagat figure you looked at, that's like an $80 figure, and I don't buy them out of like my school money. I pay them out of like my drawing money or like whatever. And like I could sit there and bitch about it, or I could just pay it and buy it. And I don't really have. Would I like them to be 40? Yeah, obviously, but they're never going for 40. And the Silverhawks.
What is that? 12-inch?
They're big. This Sagat's like almost like 9-10 inches.
Okay.
And the Superman's tiny. I did not expect it to be that small. It's little. It's like a Mattel DC Universe kind of deal.
Oh, so like 6-7 inch.
Yeah, it's small. I thought they were gonna be like 8 inches, but it's still nice. I see the Silverhawks people. I wrote on the message board. Or not on the message board, on Twitter. I wrote the problem isn't the price, because a lot of collector's figures are going for $50 to $100 right now. I go, with me the problem is the license, and somebody's jumping down my throat. What do you mean you have a problem with the license? And I'm like, I just mean that Silverhawks is like my 50th favorite 80s cartoon. So $250 for 4 figures doesn't make sense to me. Where like Street Fighter is like one of my favorite licenses there is. I pay the money. Like Silverhawks isn't going to get me, but maybe there are some diehard Silverhawks fans that have been crying away like ma.a.s.k fans have,
It's and look at, there's other things to look at too. So, and Masters of the Universe is on the wheel too. And I've talked about Origins figures, and I plan on doing it a little bit more. I like them. They're great. But there's the Kevin Smith show coming out, Revelation. Mm-hmm. They're going to have their own set of figures too. There's Origins going on. You can get Castle Grayskull now if you're not paying triple the price from the scalpers.
Yeah.
And there's, people complain about, like I complain about that Skeletor still because of his surprised face. Like, what the hell? What sculpt was that?
Yeah, if they hadn't released like 9 other different Skeletors in that Origins line with different faces, I would be like, that can't be the only face. But since they have,
well, they're re-releasing those 2 figures with
different heads, right?
With full swords, so they're not the half swords.
And
different faces. I'm like, head, right? Okay,
yeah.
So. All right.
And I don't want to say hate, but I do not like the original He-Man head they have for the Origin.
I don't hate it.
It doesn't seem like He-Man to me. It doesn't work. And the Masters Universe Revelation He-Man, which is done in like an anime style, still feels like He-Man to me when I look at that cartoon and figure.
Yeah. So going, look, I'm looking here at the original ones here mixed. There's a couple Origins mixed in. I have the He-Man classics in the back. Wish I had it in a box though, because I could probably sold it and
Yeah.
paid for
There's,
Liam's college.
there's the college right there.
But in the same sense, I can complain about, there's an Evelyn now that has it's she's actually colored the way she is in the cartoon instead of the yellow skin.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this stuff, so they're pushing, and I'm like, and I see people complain about it. Is it how like, and I buy them, but I don't get them all. What is the point of complaining? If you don't want it, don't get it.
Don't get it. And there's that Origins line is giving you every option you could want for a character.
There's like 2 mermans already, right? So
and I almost bought the second one because that's the face I always wanted. But there's so many. How are they complaining? I will say, fan base is complaining. The He-Man fan base this week was like overwhelmingly positive about that trailer. I didn't see much complaining at all. The only thing that people were like ripping it was like, what is this? I need a hero, song doing in the thing, and it's like, it's a one-off trailer. It's from the 80s. Hero makes this.
They're the premise of it is they're picking up around the same time, right?
Yeah.
And from what I read too, like Teela's going to be the main hero or something.
I don't know. I do wish the transformation sequence, because I just watched it again. I do wish the transformation sequence kept that old music, because the new stuff it is not doing anything for me. It's just really boring.
Well,
and again, I never speak negative. That I'm not sitting there. I'm not going on the face on Twitter. I wish they would keep the new stuff. This is ridiculous. I did say it would have been nice if they kept the transformation sequence, because the old one still gives you goosebumps, and I think it's just, I don't know, it just works so well.
Well, I mean, maybe that is it. Maybe there's more to it than
the new one. Yeah, the new one's not bad. It's just, I don't know.
No, you're right.
I'm a 43-year-old guy, so it's gonna hit me in the chest when I hear the old one.
No, you're right. But so kind of circling back to the Silverhawks a little bit too. And again, I don't know what kind of fan base is out there for Silverhawks. I don't know. I literally don't know if there was anything ever that came out after it. Like maybe there was. I don't know. Something
like an ADT, but nothing at all. Because I've been.
So it's kind of the same principle of the ma.a.s.k fan base, where not the ma.a.s.k, but ma.a.s.k fan base.
Yeah.
Where, okay, if I saw Super 7 release, all of a sudden I saw a Matt-Trakker figure, Miles Mayhem, Vanessa and Gloria. That's their first 4 into and they're $60 7-inch figures or whatever.
$55 6-7-inch figures. I'm in. I'm not even questioning it. I might nitpick a decision like, oh, I wish Matt-Trakker came with this one, or I don't like the way they did Spectrum as much. If these are supposed to be based on vintage, but I know I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah, and would I complain about anything? No.
Complaining would be different than like, oh, I'm not buying these. That's a deal breaker, or just saying, hey, I would love if this feature was added or something. Like the Vac Metal people. Vac Metal is not going to happen, but I do have a Voltron over my shoulder. You can't. The chair's blocking it. I got the Super 7 Ultimates Voltron, the second version, because it's got a metallic finish like the old Matchbox.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
and it's so nice. The first one's kind of just like plasticky looking crap, and the second one's the same exact sculpt, and there's nothing different except it's got this metallic sheen, and it looks amazing. Like those legs. What am I looking at?
I have 2 Voltrons there. One is the.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Notch
place.
Yeah, one's the metal one, and one's the plastic one. That was like a re-release when Voltron came out on Netflix. They put that.
Oh, so you look at the Playmates one. I get it.
Yeah. So that was the one I had when I was a kid. That was the one I used to throw at my brother. So. Like, hey, we're playing.
Yeah.
Here, meanwhile, catch his metal red lion.
Yeah, that thing will wreck you.
No, it did. It did wreck him. But I don't understand complaining. I've complained, sure, I have.
I get suggestions or
like there's a lot of there's so many things in the world I complain about.
Well, you know what? I was watching soccer yesterday, and a player literally almost dies on the field. I don't know what it was. He had a heart attack. He collapsed, and he was out.
It was an actual injury.
He just collapsed. He just
Oh,
collapsed.
I thought you were setting up as a joke first because it's soccer.
No, this is real. No,
Okay.
no, I was really no. Dude, I watch every sport. Oh, so this guy drops on the field, and you're like, what? And then they show the replay. Nothing happened, and then they're giving him like CPR. They're giving him the defibrillator. They go back to CPR. It's 10 minutes now. You think he's dying. You really do. You think, oh my God, this guy's going to die on the field. They canceled the game. The good news is he was stable, and everything was fine. Like so far, they said he's awake, he's alert, he's stable. So thank God, because during it, that did not look like it was going to be the outcome. It was a nightmare. But 5 minutes after, I go on Twitter and I see people like bitching about like the price of the Silverhawks and like, Masters in the Universe, like, Revelation, like, people have been generally happy, but you'll find people complaining, or I wish they did this, and you're like, you guys are complaining that the Silverhawks aren't vac metalized. That guy, like, it's such a minor thing. Like, you're really gonna lose your mind over a hobby, but people do not have lives, and they jump in so hard to like what they love that it becomes their personality, and they forget like they don't have to just become it. You know what I mean? Like Batman takes off the mask sometimes, guys.
It's true.
Superman, he's not flying around all day long. Sometimes he's Clark Kent, more chilled out, hanging out with.
Stops for a cup of coffee. He hangs out. Maybe I don't know if he uses these fancy Matt-Trakker mugs, but
Hey, they hold their liquid good. You should get one at Redbubble right now.
Yeah,
that was a great advertisement.
Well,
no, like people just like lose their minds, and like I'm glad that I've been able to sift through the bad to find like awesome people, whether it be Ma.a.s.k, G.I. Joe, Transformers is definitely a harder one to find, but I found some awesome people through that.
I've been lucky, through
E-Man, awesome people.
I've been lucky that when I've crossed the border of Ma.a.s.k to other avenues, I found like the great people right away. People that are genuine, they're fans, but they're also they're great human beings. And
yeah, they have their own thing going on. They don't live to freak out.
But it's funny. And this, we can also circle back to, and I don't know how to, I really want to talk about this as a full topic one day. And I think you know where I'm going with it. I want, the IDW situation.
Yeah, I knew exactly where you're going. And so, again, that was the absolute worst side of the fan base. And when I almost left every Ma.a.s.k group based off of a discussion I read on every one of them, because I'm just like, do I really want to like hang around here when these are the things being said? It's a little much.
So we had Ma.a.s.k come back, but the problem was that, multiple problems.
The real problem isn't what people thought was the real problem to me, and we haven't talked about it yet. But I think the actual comic, the storyline, that's the stuff that makes it Ma.a.s.k was the issue. But people just focused on Matt-Trakker, and that was where the arguments got muddied, because you're like, you're only seeing that, but you're ignoring why it really isn't as good as it could be.
Yes, I think that's like, maybe we can do a kind of a roundtable discussion with the group, or invite some other people in on the full run of that, because Ma.a.s.k did come back. We didn't get anything full-fledged. We got 10 comics.
Yeah, about
10 comics. Well,
and they had some tie-in issues through like a revolution.
10 with some crossovers, and we gotta figure out of it.
But of the Ma.a.s.k thing, it was 10 issues.
But it wasn't a cartoon, it wasn't a movie, it wasn't the toy line, it wasn't anything that anybody that had Ma.a.s.k when they were a kid or still collected today can relate to and push forward with. And that's part of the fundamental problem with that. But there were complaints about it. The only complaint I had was with how the story kind of got stale as it went through.
Yeah, really, the story drops off big at the end. We've talked about that on a roundtable. And then honestly, right away, the characters weren't the characters I knew. And that was like, it's almost like people's problem with Luke Skywalker. Like when the character isn't the character you knew, you just question the whole thing. And I think that's an issue when you're dealing with people who have a lifelong love of these properties, and then you reintroduce them, and you're like, wait a minute, you're not even feeding this to me. You're trying to change it. And
You're feeding it to me, but you're shoving it down my throat
yeah,
as
you're like
opposed
you're
to
like
letting me. But
like,
I'm not able to digest this
yeah,
on my
this,
own. You know,
this
it's
isn't my grandma's recipe.
yeah.
This is somebody else's evil grandma's recipe.
This has kale in it. I
Yeah,
don't want
exactly.
this.
My wife would be like, cilantro.
Yeah.
No.
No, and it goes back to the the episode I did a little while ago. Like I was trying, like people keep asking me off and on through like messages or whatever, and I'm like how would I react? Like I have no idea. And
Yeah, no.
Luke coming back, like him in the last three, or yeah, I guess three, because he was at the end of the first one, right?
Yeah, that didn't do much damage.
I didn't mind the arc. I didn't love it,
It was all right.
but you know, so that ending scene in the Mandalorian,
That's what you do.
that
Right.
like I still Liam likes watching that. Like so there's that, I think I sent it to our group chat, and it has that other music put over top.
Yeah, you have the one with the dub music.
And I have goosebumps right now thinking about that scene, because that scene, it's just phenomenal. Jon Favreau and the whole creative team there took a property and saved it in 4 minutes. I mean, before then too.
Yeah,
But
but
that 4 minute sequence of
they do
everything.
it right. And look, Mandalorian's not just straight ripping. Look, it rips off of a lot of different things. It borrows from westerns and whatever and blah blah blah. But Mandalorian didn't. The Last Jedi like attempts to like change the direction of the entire franchise that we've known forever. And look, if people like that, that's fantastic. I don't care. Just like they definitely were losing me after that. And I went to Rise of Skywalker, just like, okay, Star Wars. And it was fun for what it was, but I've never watched it again, ever.
No.
Like,
Well, when J.J. Abrams came out and said we had no plan, I was like,
last week I said they didn't have a plan. It's Star Wars. I had a plan for Ma.a.s.k 85 and 86. I mean, come on.
What do we do? Palpatine, go.
Yeah,
I
mean, I planned out fan comics that I made in 3-4 months. Like, come on, man, plan out your freaking Star Wars movies.
You want to try to fit another topic in for a couple minutes?
What time? What are we running at right now?
We're a little over 30.
All right, if we're over 30, I can live with it. I don't want to go to 40 and make people hate us.
Oh, people already hate us.
Yeah, well, hate us with a vengeance.
We don't want vengeance.
No. It'll go to Super 7 because we just got done talking about it. Boop, 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 boop,
boop. So there were so many things that Ma.a.s.k could have done.
Okay.
Toy wise. And I remember talking about this with Jason a while ago. You have, the transport plane, you have Blackout.
I remember you guys talking about this.
Magma, Chinese Scorpion, a more flushed out kind of command center, things like that, or something like a Venom hideout, maybe pick one that they used. I
feel like they were like a grass hut, like a swamp hut.
I would have really liked to see. And in learning about how Manta and Shark weren't part of it, from that interview.
That one guy, the designer.
Yeah, there was probably like, hey, these are just one-off things and that's it. So it makes more sense in that fashion. But there were some opportunities that were really missed. And if
Shark's the number one,
obviously, I mean, there are great customizers out there that are doing.
I got to get a Cliff Dagger Shark at some point in my life.
There are a lot of them out there. James Mason, his work, like I've been chatting with him for years, and I really hope to be able to talk to him one day, because the process that everybody takes, and Cliff too. I've talked to a couple different customizers already, and I like to learn the art process because it's not something I do. I've showed you my customs already.
Yeah, my brain doesn't work like that. Yeah, red and black Brad Turner.
Yeah.
Right now, Dave's sitting there staring at that thing like.
No, I sent him a mug instead of.
Ah.
I was like, I said, and I think you would rather have this than a poorly painted figure. So,
Oh man, you couldn't let it go.
oh yeah, it's so I basically actually the real thing was I was too lazy to go ship it, so I just did that. So,
That's always the way I work. Yep.
I wish that, and one of the missed opportunities too, and it's something that I've talked about off and on through episodes, and I did a whole episode on it, was a larger scale Boulder Hill. Just there could have been more with that. I don't know why that size.
It would have been cool even come the racing series if they had like more of a Boulder Hill garage kind of deal. Like where they have the hill, but then they expanded it to like a garage for like the racing toys. Like something along.
Well, I guess, no, you're not wrong on that. Boulder Hill, I don't know what the thought process was there, and I don't remember if Kenner had anything else that they were building around the same time as that scale. Like even the Death Star when they were doing Star Wars, it was just a face of it, right? Like it was like
one little section of, and you had all the play features, but like it wasn't a circle, it wasn't a giant thing that you sit in your living room. It was like a little tall,
and I always
triangle shape.
I always think about that episode of the Toys That Made Us when they're talking about the Masters line and Grayskull.
And he meant not fitting in.
The guy, he's like, oh, just put him in sideways. He's like, no, that's not how kids play.
Yeah, Mark Taylor's trying to get around it. Like, just go like this. I don't want to rebuild it.
And I still can't fit Rhino through the damn thing.
No,
there was somebody that it was on one of the boards, one of the Facebook pages where I think they redesigned Boulder Hill and made it larger for the opening, so it actually fit Rhino through it. I didn't see that. I can't remember who it was. If you remember who it was, or if you were that person, if you're tapping up in the watches, let me know, because it's still one of my biggest pet peeves about the line is that you can't fit anything larger than, I think, Slingshot through it. And
as a kid, I can tell you the only thing because it's going to slip my mind if I don't say it. As a kid, the only thing I ever wanted was a better T-Bob.
That thing that one that just came out, that transforming one. So he said it's a little too big right now. It's not scale.
Yeah. Whenever they make that thing scale, that's what I wanted as a kid. I just wanted the better T-Bob. The one that we had looked like a big wheel. You know, it doesn't look like the one from the show. I wanted the cartoon T-Bob.
So it's not my. I've talked about T-Bob, and it's not my least favorite thing in the world.
No, I don't hate it.
I wish, and it's a minor thing that transforms. It's the only thing I can say to it is that at least it's kind of in scale.
Yeah. It is. I would have liked one that could stand with legs though. Like I would love if you had one that had like little legs on it as a kid.
Yeah, like you have some customs out there
that's the one you wanted, and I still haven't gotten that yet. I don't know why.
I think this was Bjorn.
I mean, every customizer I know makes that T-Bob. There's no way I can't get it. You know?
James actually painted it for me. I sent him my Dwayne Kennedy to get painted, so he wasn't naked anymore.
Yeah. So
he was like, "Yeah, this isn't my figure, but I don't mind painting it." So it was like, one customizer doing it.
That's fun.
It was just kind of funny the way that it worked. But if I was doing it, my hands would be like this. Yeah, like
I could do it. It just I don't enjoy doing that stuff.
No, it's not that I don't enjoy it. I think if I could actually do it and I had steady hands, I'd be churning out more.
You see that? I think
custom paint stuff.
I think that's the thing. You mentioned customizers. The reason that I don't really think about options not explored as far as ma.a.s.k goes is because they've all been explored now. As a kid, it sucked that they weren't there, but everybody's made a transport plane, a shark, a you know, I mean, they have the Scorpion, they have the Magma Mole, they have unproduced toys, that little round ball thing that opens up. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah, even Thunderball.
Yeah, Thunderball, and then they have that other one, Ramp something.
Ramp Up.
There you go. And I'm like, everything that woulda, coulda happened has happened because people are just really talented.
And then there's Quencher, the little soda can, the
Yeah,
little soda thing.
Soda case and goes.
I think that was Bjorn too, if I remember correctly.
That was a Shapeways dude. That's Bjorn.
And even just parts that appeared in the show that weren't part of the toy. I saw somewhere the other day that somebody put out like the Manta blades that came out.
Oh, did they? That's cool.
And you'll have like more cartoon accurate cannon for Hurricane. I don't remember who put, like, as I'm doing this, I don't remember.
There's so many right now.
I don't remember who did what, but no, it's a cool thing to see what's not explored and be explored.
Even the agents in street clothes. That to me is awesome.
Yeah, that was something that was missed. That was a huge opportunity that they could have really taken advantage of, where they had the figure packs and they could have easily done that.
You could have had a little machine that you put the one figure on this side and then you spin it like in the Star Trek Mego playset. You spin it and then it's an agent and then it's a regular person. Kind of like,
I think that's a Batcave too, right?
Yeah, they do that on the Batcave, I think, too, where you can spin it and they're gone.
I think I have that. I think I have that in the closet. It doesn't display well. It's for the animated series, and I think for the movie, and for the '89 movie.
Oh yeah, that one definitely has something like that.
I think they're the same thing almost.
But I like the idea of the street clothes agents. Like, come on, we gotta stop being rock stars and start flying helicopter bikes. That's how I would have played.
Well, obviously, you watching, if you're still watching to this point, what are some of the things that you wished came out as a kid other than Shark and Gloria? That's still my biggest regret that they never put out.
Yeah.
But in the comments, if you have anything, feel free to share. If there's anything that if anything that we talked about, if of like who's doing that, or the blades for Manta, it was recently that I saw it. I just don't remember who posted it. So if
it's like making it, I'm in like 5,000 mask groups. There's like a French one. There's so many different ones.
No, and I enjoy the fact that there's a lot of groups. Yeah. But it's hard to keep track. I will admit that.
I don't remember where I see stuff anymore because I'm in like 25 mask groups.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, so that'll do it for this episode of Talkin Overtime. What episode is this? 15, 16?
I don't know. It's the early Sunday morning edition where we're half asleep.
Yeah. Let us know if this worked too. If you'd rather us be awake, waking or falling asleep when we do this recording.
Waking up.
So yeah, for Brian, I'm Bill. I'm about to sneeze, so we're gonna get this over with. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later.